All right. Well, I'm all rugged up, going off to the movies tonight to watch Twisters with the fam. And this is my old German greatcoat, right, that I've had. Probably 25 years. I'm very attached to this. This thing is so warm. Right, I remember buying it in like a metal shop back in the day. Very cool. I love it. Anyway, so we're going to talk about this, right? This was over on the Mortal Kombat 1 leaks Reddit. This is apparently the stuff that is going to be happening with the Comic Con, the SCC, the San Diego Comic Con, right? Ed Boon, Chief Creative Officer at NetherRealm Studios and co-creator of Mortal Kombat, joins actors Erika Ishii, Starfield and Fallout 76, and Kaiji Tang, Jujutsu Kaisen Detective Pikachu video games, as well as NetherRealm team members Marty Stoltz, Cinematic Development Director, and Joshua Slingerland, Principal Cinematic Artist, for a discussion on the continuing story, future fighters, and new game features that will be added to Mortal Kombat 1 for its second year. Moderated by Khalif Adams, CEO of Spawn on Me and the Spawnies. Now, so it's an hour-long session. We know it's an hour-long session. It says that it's an hour-long session there, right? I'm going to assume that this is going to be live streamed. If it is, I'm going to be streaming it, right? Because I want to be like front row center to see what they're going to do with the game that has hit the proverbial iceberg and what's going to turn around for it. All right. So the things that they've obviously highlighted that somebody's done here is the continuing story. So we are obviously going to get some form of story direction, whether it be a trailer, whether it be simply talking about it, storyboarding, I don't know. An hour long is a long time. Even if you throw in a couple of trailers there, you've still got a lot of time left, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see, what's going to happen, right? So we're going to see that. If the story DLC leaks are true, then that's kind of worrying, to be honest. That's kind of worrying, right? Now, as far as future fighters go, well, that can be any of the leaks that we've covered on the channel. It could be the recent ones that I covered, the ones that are like a week or two before that. I don't know, right? But I'd almost guarantee it's almost a done deal that we are probably going to be getting female versions of Sector and Cyrax. It seems that seems to be the way. It seems to be one of the strongest leaked rumors out there for characters. No doubt we're going to get Noob Saibot at some point, whether it be part of the story, DLC character lot, or the Combat Pack 2. Obviously, they're talking about Year 2, which means that that's obviously going to include Combat Pack 2. Now, what I'm very interested in outside of the character fighters, I want to know if we're going to be getting any new stages. I want to know if we're going to be getting any stage fatalities. I want to know if we're actually going to be getting stuff being added to the game. It says new game features that will be added. Well, there's the Warrior Shrine. What's that for? Well, some of the data mine leaks suggest that it's a place where you can buy all the Combat League stuff. Perhaps. Maybe it'll be a place where they can sell all of the seasonal stuff. Who knows? Right? I really hope they don't continue on with the invasions, because it's just a waste of game mode. Maybe this whole time they've been formulating a better way, and they will maybe say scrap invasions and then maybe reintroduce the crypt or something like that. Who knows? They could be taking the crypt from MK11, importing it across. I don't know. I don't see why they couldn't do this sort of stuff. It's not like the graphic engines between MK11 and MK1 are very different. In fact, in some respects, sometimes you can actually look at the game in MK11 and actually look better than MK1, right? So those sorts of things, I don't know if that's possible. I don't even know if that's on the table. New game features will be added. What is that? 1v1. That'd be really nice. Getting a 1v1 mode in the game would be really, really cool, right? But who knows? They have committed themselves completely to this broken mechanic known as cameos, right? It is a fail. It is an utter disgrace of a game mode. It never should have been in the game. If it was going to be in the game, it should have been done completely differently. I've offered solutions to that. For example, the actual, the the actual characters themselves should have applied a direct buff to your character, and that was it. Like, that's all that should have happened as far as like the game goes, right? Dusty stuff has been in the cupboard this whole time, right? So who knows? Like, who knows what's actually going to happen, you know, as far as that goes? What other game modes could they add in? Is this the sort of crap that they talk about when it comes to invasions? They're going to just add in invasions rubbish, so that we go, oh yeah, invasions. That's great. Thank you. You know, that's wonderful. No, I don't want extra modes in invasions where it's varying like game modes and stuff like that. I want proper game modes in the game, right? I would love personally a massive open world, you know, which is what Invasion should have been. Invasion should have been an open world. You could go to each area, run around, do main quests, side quests, beat up roaming gangs of bad guys, you know, see other players run around. That would have been amazing. Not this mobile game crap that we've got right now. That's just rubbish, right? So, you know, apart from, say, like a 1v1 mode, which would be the most requested feature of all time, which should have been in the game to begin with, right? What else could they put in there, right? What else could they do? Now, we know that they've got locked away a tag mode. That could be in there, perhaps. Titan battles, again, that's just crap, right? They show up rarely. They're boring. It's just, you know, it's just rubbish stuff. You know, it's just crap. Like, we need proper stuff to do. We really do need proper stuff to do, right? I would like, if they're going to put a 1v1 mode in the game, to bring in 1v1 mode towers, right? I hate cameos with a passion. I hate seeing the cameos in the tower with a passion. Just give me a 1v1 mode, right? Now, on MK Warehouse, if you go there, there are actually darkened versions of the towers, right? So nighttime versions of the towers. Now, one of the things, it's not so much a game mode, but one of the things I'd like to see is quality of life and make the game a little bit more interesting. But staring at two fucking dragons in the background, almost making out, is maybe a nighttime mode, right? Or a night mode, if you will, or dark mode, right? So then the eyes of the dragons light up. Maybe they occasionally breathe fire. We actually have random characters that walk out, they'll fight in the background, you know, and then, you know, one will kill the other and then they'll, you know, it'll then reset and more will come out. We need something going on in the background. We need stuff to have going on. Now, they're probably going to add the online practice, right? Which is still grayed out, which means obviously that if you're waiting to play online, you can jump into practice, you know, like every other fighting game can practically do almost, right? We need, and it can't just be online stuff. It's got to be offline stuff too. It's got to be stuff that's really engaging to play this stuff offline. Because right now, invasions is not enough. Story is not enough. When you finish the story, nobody, by and large, is going back to replay it. Because it's not like you have multiple choice. It's not like you can go back to every single chapter, like they kind of did, actually, with MK11. Where it'd be two characters there and they'd be like, oh, you could choose this character or you could choose this character, and then that would give you different outcome, right? I don't remember any of that crap, you know, in the story for MK1. It was pretty much just all the way through, and then right at the end there for what, chapter 15, you could choose your character for the pyramid scene, right? So the new game modes, like, you can add all the characters in the game all you like, but if you don't have game modes, it's going to be very boring. And I think this game desperately needs a 1v1 mode. A 1v1 mode in this game would be more than enough, I think, to turn the ship around. Enough so that it might be retrievable. We need that. Okay? We absolutely need that, right? Stories neither here nor there, you know, hit and miss depending on if you like it or not. But the big things is going to be future fighters, right? Which unfortunately, because it's a Comic-Con and they're doing it at the Comic-Con, then we're going to end up with, like, you know, they're going to probably announce guest characters because it's a Comic-Con, right? And it depends what those guest characters are going to be. I have no doubt one of them is probably going to end up being Ghostface. right? But then we got a choices. Are they going to go down the Conan T1000 route, which would be really bizarre? Like, really bizarre, right? Or maybe the other route, perhaps, where you might get, like, you know, the Doomslayer, which would be incredible. Given that we have a new Doom game coming out in next year, Doom the Dark Ages, having that come out would be pretty awesome, right? But the game modes, or the game features that will be added, which in turn would be game modes, right? And what are those going to be? Is it going to be the ability for us to choose on the fly when we're at the character select screen any palette we want? So we can choose any skin, any palette. That would be amazing, right? They may rework the entire leveling up process, because Invasions is boring as shit. And the grind to get the XP for these characters, it's a lot better than what it was, but it's still just, it's just a waste of time, right? So I'm wondering if they have been looking at everyone that's been talking about this in the last year and going, we need to rework this because this is just not working out, right? People are bored, they're walking away. They must be looking at other games like Tekken or Street Fighter especially and going, well, what are they doing that's keeping people engaged? Well, the 1v1 mode, obviously, right? Street Fighter has the World Tour mode. So every time they bring out DLC characters, they just add them into the world. So then from a single player standpoint, you can go into that world and interact with these characters and still run around and do stuff. I mean, you can fight everyone pretty much in World Tour mode, right? And then you take that NPC character that you've created and you can take that and fight other actual players' NPC character, or like, you know, self-made characters, right? In the battle hub mode, like in the middle there, right? Or you can just run around the battle hub and do whatever, right? And then of course you've obviously got the single player stuff like battling through an arcade tower and things like that, right? They really, really need to impress us at the end of this month. They just need to just knock it out of the park, right? And have us excited about Mortal Kombat again. I'd love to be able to sit here and be excited about MK, right? Maybe, like what we've already covered before, Ed Boon was talking about, oh, they're going to make a change to the uppercut, you know, cancel, or whatever it's called, right? Where if you got 2 bars and you do an uppercut, you press up, forward, and block, you take the 2 bars and you jump immediately after them to do like an air combo. Right? Reduce the cost of that, make it better. That could work. That's little features that you could add into the game. Maybe after all this time, they've been looking at things and going, you know, maybe we'll reduce combo breakers down to 2. Maybe we're going to add some extra defensive options into the game, so that way, you know, it feels like people have a fighting chance instead of sitting there, putting their controller down for 15 seconds and waiting for them to finish their gigantic combo. Most people don't like that sort of gameplay at all. Right? And I know other fighting games do it. Tekken does it. Tekken can carry you for a bit, but it feels faster and it feels like there's much more of a fighting chance to come back, because part of the defensive options in Tekken is being able to move in 3D, right? Literally being able to sidestep attacks. We don't have anything like that because MK1 is a 2D game. So they need to figure out other stuff. Otherwise, this game is just going to continually go down and down and down and down, and nobody's going to be interested in it anymore. It doesn't matter how many characters you throw at it. It doesn't matter how much DLC story you throw at it. And some of this stuff has to be quality of life changes. You can't just bake some of these things that should be in the game as a sort of like an overall objective plus, and go, yeah, but you got to pay for the DLC to get it, right? You can't do that. We see it in World of Warcraft where they'll redo the talent trees for the characters or the classes. You know, they'll bring in some maybe new UI changes. These things aren't tied to you having to buy the next expansion. They're part of a worldwide update that everyone is able to enjoy, and only the new areas or the new story or the new classes you got to pay for. Everything else is just a nice, beautiful upgrade. We need that. We need more skins in the game. Right? There's a lot of gear pieces in the game, but we need more skin variety in the game too. And that could fall under future fighters as well, I suppose, perhaps. But the new features, definitely. Being able to choose your character's skin and color at the character select screen. Get rid of, you know, you can still have your randomized crap, right? Or maybe get rid of that completely and just sit there with a button and press randomize, and it will randomize your character literally on the fly. That would be very cool too. Maybe we can make it so that we can change the background. You know, we might have some selections of background, you know, when we, you know, on the main menu. Not just a night mode, but other different backgrounds. Why not? Right? There needs to be some very cool visual changes to this game as well to make it feel fresh, refresh it after all this time. You know, obviously the fighters and of course the game features. Like, and again, adding these game features is going to feel a little rough when they add in the warrior shrine and the online practice, because it's like, yeah, but you've had them in the game. You just refuse to unlock them, right? So we need to have additional stuff on top of that to make it very interesting. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time.